video. So this video is having a new topic, which is rubbish and recycling. So rubbish and recycling doesn't need a form means like explanation. Explanation, it means to say we all see rubbish around us. This is a very common thing, very common word that we all see, and for that our world is having so much trouble for that. Global warming, many more things, melting of ice, heat temperature rises in many places, and many more things. Plant die, no water means like water becomes dirty. So this is about rubbish and recycling. Rubbish, I am explaining of rubbish and recycling. To reuse a thing which is already used. Suppose you use thing which can be reused again. A particular object which can be reused again and again is called as recycling. Means a particular object which is used, but now we can use it more. By that we can save the quantity, the material which is used in that particular object to make it. So this is what rubbish and recycling's common explanation is up. So let us talking about the brief history of rubbish. So let us see this history of rubbish. So how does this rubbish word and this thing entered our world? The ancient world. In the ancient world times, nomadic people simply left the rubbish and moved on. Once people settled in villages, they were faced with the problems having disposed of rubbish where they lived. Often they are just covered with the earth. This is the cause the ground level is in the ancient cities such as Troy to increase by over a meter in a century. The first anti-dumping law was issued in Athens, Greece in 320 BC, when citizens were complained to bury their rubbish or put the pits outside the city. So what happened in the ancient world? There were nomadic people. So people have the brains but don't know how to use the brains. So those people eat things and throw from over there. And when after a few years they started civilizations, they started to live in villages, and that village people were very disturbed with that rubbish. So rubbish waste around them actually, and what did they do? They actually covered them with earth. Earth here means the ground, the sand, the soil present over there. They put the things under the soil, they covered it up with the earth. And after a few years, what happened? For this particular reason, some places like Troy, there's a place called as Troy, to increase over a 1 meter in a century. So in a century, it increased its land about a 1 meter because the people were putting their pits, putting their garbage under the soil. So that is the reason why the Troy land was increased a meter in a century. Next thing, what happened in 320, there was a law passed out, so which told that they cannot throw. Actually, this was the first anti-dumping law was issued in Athens, Greece. In Greece, it was a place Athens. A law was passed out that in 320 BC, that when anti-dumping law issued, anti-dumping. So why this law was passed? Because when the citizens actually complained to bury their rubbish or put the pits outside the city, so they actually complained and compelled to bury their rubbish or put the pits outside the city. They actually told the government that please can we put our pits and garbage outside the city, because if it is inside the cities and a place would happen that it will make the city dirty and make our places dirty. So a law was passed out, that anti-dumping law was passed out in 320 BC in Athens, Greece. It was the first anti-dumping law passed out. Next, we are going to see in the Middle Ages, the medieval cities. Medieval cities, in the sense, the period when it was a period between the old ages and the modern world. It was the period. Medieval period means middle. Medieval comes from a Greek name, so it means middle. So this name actually signifies Middle Ages. The Middle Ages, in the sense, the age between the old age and the modern age, modern world and the old world, or ancient world and the new world. So this medieval cities, people often threw their smelly rubbish into streets, causing spread of rats and mice and diseases. Now also people who are facing problem to give their garbage to people, they actually throw it in the roads or streets, and that causes very much mice and rats around their houses and the street, and also diseases. Yes, it also caused diseases. Then what happened? Free roaming pigs ate some of it, and expect in the Paris, where they were banned after 1331. After the King Louis the Sixth son and the hare was killed when the horse tripped over wandering the pig. In London, kites and ravages among the rubbish tips. So what happened except for Paris, what happened all over the free roaming pigs ate some of it, means that smelly rubbish, they ate it. And but except for Paris was not one of them. Because it was banned, means roaming of pigs were banned, because there was a king called as King Louis the Sixth. His sons and the hare was killed when the horse tripped over a wandering pig. So what happened, that his son actually was killed by a pig, because the horse actually tripped over the pig, and they actually, I think, slipped and they got died. So it was fully think that the pigs were banned over there. And then in London, actually what happened, in London situation, kites is a kind of, if you see kites and eagles, they are almost similar, but kites have some differences in them. So if you can think of an eagle and the kites are a bird only. So kites and ravens, they scavenged among the rubbish tips. So scavenged in the sense, they actually the rubbish were put outside the street, and of course it will be not thrown like that. Like if there's a packet, they will not throw it. They will actually tied and it is put in one corner. So the kites and the other animal came and they scavenged around. Means they actually throw the garbage around the street, which made the street very ugly, and it was very unhealthy for the street and the people over there. Among the rubbish tips, the birds were so important that killing one of the punishable by death. So what happened? Birds were so important. The birds actually that time were so important. So if the birds were killed, it was a punishable. Actually the person could get a punishable thing to death. The person can be caused to death. That is the situation of there. Now let's come to the very much in modern world. So the 19th century, rag and bone men were a common sight in 19th century scenes. So rag and bone men, the healthy looking men, the perfect men, the modern men came to the streets. They were very common to the streets. They went from house to house with horse and cart, gathering anything that could be resold. Dust men collected the cinders from home, fire to be used to brick making, human fertilizer, a dog dropping in the leather, tanning the trade. The first rubbish burning in Sister called a duster was built in Nottingham in 1974 when the dustbin appeared in Paris, France in 1983. The first dustbin appeared in Paris and France was in 1883. Sorry, I think I told it 19. It is 1883. So it was introduced by Edwin Paul Belle, the prefect of the police. To this date, the French call the dustbin as poubelle. So now, actually, it was invented by a man. So by his name, the French people call it as poubelle. And this all information you will see in the end of the video in the recap. So don't go. I will give you all the information written in here. I made these boxes for showing that how much garbage that each country makes. Some of the countries I am writing here, you can see it. But first let's complete our description brief about the history of the rubbish. And then the current century going on, the 20th century. During the 20th century, thousands of new disposable goods were invented and fewer people had open fires, so more rubbish was thrown away. Disused electronics equipments including TV sets, computers, mobile phones and fax machine began to join the world's growing rubbish dumps. So of course this when the computer started, electronic gadgets, modern technology, chips, IC chips, that included with the dumps, which is now called as the rubbish. Now, biggest rubbish producer. So, big means biggest rubbish producer in the, I'm going country wise. So, biggest rubbish producers. So, I'm going to write the country name over here. Country, and this is the household waste. A person in kgs, a person every year, per year. Per person, okay? Per person, I'm going with country wise. So, per person dumps this much of amount of garbage per year. So first I'm going to start with Ireland. Ireland. So Ireland per person dumps 760 kg per year. Next, we are going to go with the famous name country USA, 740 dumps per year. Next is Iceland. 730 dumps per year, per person. Next, we are going to go to Norway. It is something about 700 dumps. 700. Australia goes for 690 dumps per year. Household waste of per person. I am talking about household waste. Means think, if we include industry per year, it goes to something about thousands. It is in hundreds. Now, if we go to industrial waste per year by per country, it will go to 1,000, and I think it will increase from it. Yes, it will. Next is Denmark, which is 670. Switzerland. Something about 660. Next, Germany, Spain, and Luxembourg. So I'm just writing G, L, and Spain. As the name are too big, so I cannot afford to write it over there. I mean to say they're too big, and I don't think it will go to this place. I will make a star mark and write over here. Next is a UK, United Kingdom, which is having 610. Actually, this is 650. 650 and 610 is the UK, and the Netherlands comes in 600. So these are the country biggest rubbish producer in the world, which are producing this kg of rubbish per person in the household works. Not even any industrial waste, but household waste. That is very much. How much rubbish is that? So every person in UK produces approximately half of a ton of household rubbish every year. That is true. Which means that the UK as a whole produces 30 million tons. That is enough to fill dustbins stretching from the earth to the moon. But that's not all. Household rubbish makes only 7% of the yearly total. The rest comes from the mining and quarrying, 114 million tons. Agriculture is 86 million. Demolition and construction, bricks, soil, etc., which is 80 million. Industrial waste is 55 million. Degraded spoils from river and harbors 34 million. Commercial waste 25 million, and sewage 4 million. All in million. Now let's go to the next thing, which I am going to explain you how long to rot. So some garbages needs a time to rot. For example, everything. If you see, even if you buy a plastic bag, it needs 100 of years. Tin cans need 100 of years to dispose under the soil. So let's see some of the interesting things which you use in the household things. So first we will go for cotton rags. Cotton rags, which is 1 to 5 months. I am writing M for months and Y for years. Paper, which is 2 to 5 months. Next is orange peel. Orange peel, which is up to 6 months. 6 months. Next, wool socks. Woolen socks. Wool socks. Even the wool socks needs 1 to 5 years. Now we have come to years. 1 to 5 years. Now next is secret ends. Secret ends, which is 1 to 12 years. Imagine 1 to 12 years. Next is plastic coated drinks. Plastic coated drinks. Plastic coated drinks. Now you will see we are drinking tin cans drink. So how it's plastic coated? The cover, the print, the plastic, the cover in the sense like the plastic coated drinks. Or we can say that plastic bottles which you have for soft drinks, that we can take an example of. So plastic drinks, cartoons which take 5 years. Next, plastic bag. Plastic bags, which needs 10 to 20 years. 10 to 20 years. 1 to 20 years. Photofilms. 10 to 30 years. 20 to 30 years. Next is leather shoes. Which is 25 to 50 years. Next is artificial fiber clothes, nylon. Artificial clothes means fiber clothes which needs 30 to 40 years. God, now the ultimate winner, tin cans. Tin cans need 50 to 100 years. Like, imagine the things which we use in daily needs need this much amount of energy, this much amount of years to actually dispose of. Like, can you imagine you are drinking a cold drink or any sort of a drink, soft drink, hard drink, any drink with a tin can, and that tin can you crush it off and throw, thinking that somebody will pick up and make it to the garbage pit. Then what happens that particular tin can? It goes to the garbage pit, it makes a box about it, and then what happens? It takes 100 years to dispose of. Means it needs such a long time to dispose of. Now let's move to the waste over here, waste box. So what goes into our dustbins? What goes to our dustbins? What goes to our dustbins? So I would like to take another color of pen so that we can understand the whole dustbin structure. So what happens is, what goes to our dustbin? So I want to just make an underline structure over here. So this part is our paper and card. 23%. Sorry, 32%. 32%. Next, this much is our kitchen waste or food waste, which is just 21%. Next is our plastics, which is 11%. Next is glass, which is 9%. Next goes over here, these parts, which is subdivided into parts. So I will write it over here. I better write it over here actually. So first thing is metals, which is 8%. Next is fines, ash and dust, fines, which is 7%. Next is miscellaneous. So miscellaneous doesn't have any quantity, that can be anything. So next is non-combustible. combustible, which is 2%. Next is textiles, 2%, and that's all. So this much of quantity goes to our daily needs, our household needs. What goes to our dustbins? So let us move to the next part of this lesson. It means, like, firstly, let's have a recap that what we have learned. So let's have a recap first. So in this recap, first we will write the ancient world. The ancient world. So first of all, they actually disposed of. So I'm going to write some of the points. There were nomads people. There were nomadic people. So they dump their waste in earth. After villages form, they started to throw or dug it in the soil. After few years, a law passed over for anti-dumping in Athens, Greece, in 320 BC. Actually, what happened? The people compelled to throw the pits outside the city. Throw the pits outside the city. Okay, so this is the explanation of ancient world. Next we will go to the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages. So in the Middle Ages, what happened? People threw their rubbish on streets. So what happened? Which caused rats and mice to, to spread up. kites to scavenge the garbage. This was the thing in the Middle Ages. Next, in the 19th century, so people reused. So actually what happened, their first invention started. So I'm going with the points. So firstly, what happened, the dustman collected his cinders. So I'm going to start with the Paris and the France one. The first dustbin built in Nottingham. So in 1874, actually not dustbin, but actually it was a rubbish burner. The first dustbin in France came to be known as Pobeli. And the other thing I told you to write to know the UK producers. So I'm going to start with here. I'm writing over here firstly. How long to rot? Okay, so that you don't get confused. Next thing I'm going to write is over here. UK is producing so firstly 30 million tons. 30 million tons for household house. I'm writing in bracket house. You should understand that it's for household. Next, this is only 7%. Next is the 114 million tons for mining. Next, I'm going to write it over here. I'm going to put the arrow over here. Straight line. So over here. So over here, if I'm writing for agriculture, 86 million tons. 86 million for agriculture waste. Next is 80 million construction. Next is 55 million. 55 million for industrial. Next go for harbors, river waste, 34 million. River and harbor. Next, the second last is our 25 million for 25 million for commercial waste. Next is lastly 4 million, 4M for sewage. Okay, so this is about the whole video. So hope you like the video, and if you like the video, you can like, subscribe, share and comment me down. Some more things I would say that way to reduce waste is first use a shopping bag and refuse increasing carry bags. The shopkeeper might give you carry bags, please refuse it. You should take your own bags, which is a very good thing. If you start, all will start. Buy refills. So don't use new pens, buy the refills. If your pen is over, you can buy the refill and you can use the pen again and again. So the pen, plastic pen, the pen is also made with plastic. The pen which you're using is made of plastic, so you can use this refill to fill it up, and then you can use it again and again for many years, and it will be helpful to reduce the plastic thing. Next, buy fruits and vegetable loose, not pre-packed. So please buy fruits and vegetable loosely, which is available in the shops, not in the markets, not in the malls, which are pre-packed. Next, buy recycled goods. This is not an obvious thing. Of course, we should use recycling things, but some things might not, things which are non-recyclable. So what will happen? You should take things which are recyclable. Means some things, at least some things. Start with some, then go to many. Next is use reusable nappies. So you should use reusable nappies. Next, buy soft drinks in large bottles and pour into small bottles for daily use. You buy a big soft drink and pour into different small 2 bottles, and you can use it for daily use. Don't buy 2 minutes small drinks. Rather, you can buy a big drink and use it for daily use. Use wrapping paper, packing materials and envelopes. So use wrapping papers and packing materials and envelopes. Next, envelopes actually. Next is pack your lunch in reusable box rather than foil and cling frame. See, you keep your things in a different box which is reusable, which can be properly washed off. Don't use foil. Don't use that grey color sheets. That is not good. Choose a durable product over disposal ones. Rechangeable batteries. So use a disposable thing. If you are using something which cannot be disposable, use it in a less quantity. Donate unwanted clothes to charity and shops. Rumble the sale. So if you donate a particular thing, they do not need to buy other things. They can make things for there also. If you don't want to give in the charity, you can give to shops, because with that cloth, they can use in some way or other and use that particular cloth for a new cloth. So that your old cloth is also used, and they do not need much of fiber or cloth or cotton. If there's a cotton dress, they do not need more cotton for the particular thing. No more waste actually. Reducing the energy of the machine, reducing the energy of the people, and reducing the things. Next, donate unwanted furniture to the furniture recycling project. So your furniture is not good, so you recycle it to the shops, and then the person will use that old furniture to make new, which will help the people to not cut trees. That is a very good idea. Next is buy drinks in glass bottle. They can be reused 20 times. So we can use a glass bottle 20 times rather than a plastic bottle. So please use glass bottles so that you can take them as 20 times, 40 times. You can use it in a better way. Next, if it is broken, mend it. Don't throw it anyway. So if the glass bottle is broken, mend it. Don't throw it. You can mend it. Return the clothes hanging to the dry cleaners. So return the clothes hanger to the dry cleaner. That's a very good thing. Some people take the hangers with them. Next, take a glass cans, papers and cardboards to recycle bags. Compost leftover food, garden waste, paper in small amounts and a vacuum cleaner dust. So use the leftover food, garden waste, paper in a small amounts, compost it, so and vacuum cleaner dust, even the vacuum cleaner dust also. So this was the whole video about. If you like the video, well, if you like it, it's a long video, but a very interesting video. So thank you for watching. If you like it, like, subscribe, share and comment me down, and thank you for watching. Bye.